Alright, so I have this new settings that I think you guys who have televisions like Samsung Q8FN or Q9FN or Sony X900F, anything that has over 1500 nits of peak brightness, meaning the lumens light peak brightness 1500, that's above 1500, I would suggest that you use these settings. And this is really for PlayStation 4 Pro owners. This video is recorded in HDR, so you will have to wait for this video to be processed. As a matter of fact, you can watch this video on your television that supports 1500 peak brightness lumens nits. So this is what I'm basically using. I'm using a locked cinematic 1500 peak brightness locked peak of brightness nit style here, and then I bumped up the paperwhite from 220 to 330. And here's the reason why. At 220 it feels dimmed down, and I think for those of you who have HDR turned on this video, you will see just the difference between 330 and then 220. 220, it dims it down, and you don't want to have your paperwhite dimmed down. I don't like it. The whole idea of HDR is to have that peak brightness. So I felt this right here, 330, it's a really good way to leave it. So let's try it. Let's see how it works, shall we? And it looks really nice. It looks really nice. Actually, as a matter of fact, it looks quite nice here. I love it. But remember, you also will have to adjust your settings on your TV. Make sure that your peak brightness on your TV is set to maximum, meaning your backlit has to be set to maximum, and your contrast. Couple of things really important to remember, and I know how many times I have said this in the past. Guys, you have to have a backlit and the contrast set to maximum, or don't bother turning on the HDR. Alright? Turn that sucker all the way high. Backlit contrast, you have to have it at high. Maximum. Turn that sucker to maximum. Alright? Don't ask me again. For the last time, I'm going to say this. If you don't understand that you have to have your backlit to maximum and your contrast to maximum, then I don't know why you have a 4K HDR television. It's really annoying. Come on, guys. By now, we should know this crap. You can't enjoy HDR without a peak brightness. You can't enjoy this without having that backlit set to maximum and contrast set to maximum. Alright? Now, if you have a very low peak brightness TV, if you have a very cheap 4K HDR TV, guys, you will not enjoy HDR. You can't buy something cheap, gimmicky. Those are gimmicks. Selling at televisions for 400, 350. Those are cheap TVs. Those are garbage. They're not even real HDR TVs. They're garbage. If you want the real HDR and to get your feet wet, you need to go ahead and get yourself a TCLR 617 to get your feet wet. Why? Because it has 840 nits, just enough of peak brightness for you to enjoy the HDR. It meets the standard requirements for HDR. So TCLR 617. Now, if you don't live in the United States, then you have no choice but to go with something. Guys, you're not gonna have a great HDR TV if you don't pay above $1,000. That's just the way it is. And if you're not ready to pay over $1,000, then brother, don't watch this video. Don't watch my channel. Stick with your whatever you have. I'm not here to judge, but you can't buy a shitty TV and expect to have some great experience. It's not going to work, because those TVs are gimmicks. They don't have the necessary requirements for you to enjoy HDR, for you to enjoy Dolby Vision, for you to enjoy this. Guys, alright, let's get back to the game. The reason I'm mentioning this, because I've seen people send me messages with some gimmicky televisions. I was like, dude, you got a gimmicky 4K HDR television, and you are wondering why it looks washed out, why it looks yellow, why it looks all screwed up, because you got a very cheap gimmicky TV. All right? And I don't care if you get mad. Either A, you're going to do it the right way, or you're going to do it the wrong way. You want to have a great TV? Then buy yourself a Samsung Q8F and save some money, for crying out loud, dude. And if you can't save the money to buy a Samsung Q8F for $1,500, then brother, don't watch this video. Don't watch this. You should be thinking about how you're going to save the money. The last thing on your mind should be watching this about televisions. And I'm trying to be honest about this. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself and your financial situation. But don't buy crap TV and expect to have some high-end results. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry, but I have to be this way because it's getting annoying, because I just don't understand that some of you don't understand what are the requirements needed for you to enjoy HDR. I mean, come on, guys. No, I mean, for real. It's getting old. It's 2019. You know, you need to understand this. You can't buy these gimmicky, cheap-ass televisions from Walmart, Target, from Best Buy, Philips, Toshiba, what have you, Amazon TV. You can't buy these Android TVs, these crappy TVs. They're gimmicks. That's why they're selling them cheap, because they're gimmicks. Why do you think I make these videos? Try to help you. But if you don't listen, if you don't want my help, if you don't want my advice, then don't watch my videos. But I don't want you bitching and moaning to me, telling me, oh, why my cheap-ass TV that's $300 doesn't work well with the HDR. Because it's cheap. They're not going to spend their resources on something that's cheap. You're going to get exactly what you're buying. Cheap. Guys, that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You want a really good TV? Go with the Vizium Peak Quantum. Quantum Vizios, they got a really high peak brightness necessary for HDR. They got quantum dots. They got color gamut. They got local dimming. They got 3 necessary ingredients. Peak brightness, high peak brightness, full white color gamut, and local dimming. When you have this kind of a TV, you're going to have really great results. Okay? But that only happens if you purchase a TV that has those necessary ingredients. All right, so let's get back to this. Like I said, I like this cinematic, but let's see if we can maybe adjust a little bit more. Adjust it a little bit more. Let's go to a display. Let's go to calibration, and 340, 350. Let's leave it at 350. I think at 350, I think I'm going to get more than enough of peak brightness here with a paperwhite. First of all, as you can see on your right, you can see the clouds. You can see the blue clouds. You can see the difference between the haze, the fog, and the bright white clouds, and then the blue sky. So you can see that I'm not overblowing anything here. I'm not clipping anything here. You can clearly see the Arthur Morgan, and you can see the clouds on the right, so you know that I'm not clipping anything. All right? Let's see what we got now. This is PlayStation 4 Pro version. Oh yeah, this looks even better. So 350. Go with a 350. This looks even better, man. And you guys will be able to see this as well on your television. So yeah, this cinematic mode with 350 paperwhite looks pretty darn good to me. Looks pretty darn good. But remember, guys, as I said earlier, you can buy a crappy TV with the PlayStation 4 Pro and then wonder, oh, why my HDR looks washed out? It looks worse when the HDR is turned on. That's because you don't have enough peak brightness. everything's dimmed down because you don't have enough peak brightness. The HDR needs peak brightness. All right? Just like your heart needs the blood to pump it. All right, it needs HDR. I mean, it needs peak brightness. And if you have a shitty peak brightness that's like 600 nits, 650 nits, or 700 nits, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then you got a lousy local dimming. Come on, man. And then you got like a decent color gamut. You can't. And then the viewing angle sucks because the local dimming, it's terrible. Guys, you can't buy these gimmick TVs and then expect to have some kind of like you know, dramatic HDR experience. It's not going to happen. Okay? This only works if you have a really good 4K HDR TV. And they have them out there, guys. They are available for you to buy them, you know. You can go with TCLR 617. I've been recommending TCLR 617 60-inch. I've been recommending that TV or 55-inch. You can go with Vizio Peak Quantum series. You can go with a Sony 900E. Sony 900E, you can find it used for like $900, $800. It's a really good HDR TV. There's other options out there, but you guys are not listening. You guys are buying these, you know, gimmicky televisions. If you buy a gimmick television, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a gimmick. By the way, people who say that this game hasn't been fixed, I was like, what are you talking about? This game has been more than fixed. Everything from the textures, ambient occlusions, all the bugs, the HDR looks better than ever. Now this is a complete Red Dead Redemption 2 experience. This is what we've been waiting for, a complete Red Dead Redemption 2 experience. All right? And the PlayStation 4 Pro version looks great as well. Now, granted, if you have a choice, like I do, and you have Xbox One X, of course, for the love of God, if you have a choice. This is a stupid question that people ask me. If you have a choice, then yeah, go with the Xbox One X version if you have a choice. But if you don't have a choice, I wouldn't go out and run out and buy a Xbox One X just for Red Dead Redemption 2, because you can still experience it on the PlayStation 4 Pro. That'll be kind of stupid to go out there and run out just to buy an Xbox One X for this game when you can already experience this game on the PlayStation 4 Pro. All right, and the HDR is great. I have no problem with the HDR here. I would, like I said, I would suggest cinematic version, locked cinematic version with 1500 peak brightness nits and then 350 paperwhite. All right, but remember, you gotta have a television that supports 1500 peak brightness nits, meaning you gotta have Q8FN from Samsung or Sony X900F, Vizio Peak Quantum series, the new ones that go up to 1500 nits or above. You're gonna need that type of a television. And of course, all of these televisions with the high peak brightness, they have a really good color gamut. They have a full white color gamut and pretty good local dimming. So with that in mind, you should be good. Okay? So, well, there you have it. 15 minutes. This is in HDR and 4K. Like I said, go ahead and try these settings. Let me know what you guys think. But you gotta remember, like I said earlier, you gotta have a television that supports this peak brightness. And you have to have a YouTube app that supports HDR. If your YouTube app doesn't support HDR, then you cannot see this video in HDR. All right? So do some research before you actually start complaining. All right? Find out if you can watch HDR on your YouTube app. All right? So there you have it. This is what I'm using, and Remember, this is what I suggest right now. This right here. This right here. Cinematic, and then paperwhite 350. Now cinematic, it's automatically locked at 1500, so you can adjust this. So paperwhite 350, and I'm not clipping anything here. Excuse me. Clearly you can see on the right side that nothing's being clipped. The skies look exactly the way they should be. People say turn it down. Why would I turn it down? Why would I dim it down? Why would I dim it down? Why would I do this? I have idiots recommend me to do this. Okay, so what's the point of me having an HDR if I'm going to dim it down? Obviously, some of these individuals don't know how HDR works. I'm not clipping anything here at 350. Nothing's being clipped. Nothing's being clipped here. Do you want to see clipping? Here, let me show you clipping. This is clipping. When you go to 500, now I'm clipping it. Here, I'm not clipping anything at 350. Okay? Everything looks the way it should be. Clearly, you can see the blue sky on the right. You can see the difference between the haze and the blue sky. So remember, cinematic style and paperwhite 350. This is what I recommend. Well, there you have it. All right, if I was clipping, you wouldn't be able to see the sky. You wouldn't be able to see the snow or different colors there are on the snow. You wouldn't be able to see none of this stuff if I was clipping it. All right, so there you have it. By the way, like I said earlier, PlayStation 4 Pro version looks great. This HDR looks great. Don't listen to these other haters out there. There's people out there that are just making videos to complain for the sake of the views. All right, that's all they do. And they got a bunch of sheeps following them for the same reason, whatever. I'm not interested in that. And don't send me the links of those YouTubers. I'm not interested in them. I don't care about them because they're just a bunch of repeaters. They're just looking for money. They're money whores. I'm not interested in money whores. You guys know how I feel about that. All right, so having said that, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And please remember, you can buy a cheap TV and then expect some dramatic results on your HDR. That's not how it works. All right? For the last time, please, guys, you need to buy a really good 4K HDR TV to enjoy HDR. It's that simple. All right. Have a good one, though. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got a bunch of videos tomorrow. I got the Oculus Quest unboxing and my thoughts on it. I've got Oculus Rift S unboxing and my thoughts on it. And then we're going to do some Metal Gear Sons of Liberty 2. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you. Take care.